to another Commander deck tech from yours truly, Mike from Blue Collar Gaming. Today, we're looking at one of my first ever Commander builds. That's right, Omnath, Locus of Mana. Basically a giant mana battery, because Omnath makes it so your mana will not empty from your mana pool. How awesome is that? So we're going to put in tons of ways to dump mana and let him keep it and just hopefully kill our opponents. That's the main deal. So, of course, we have things like Whisper Seal Cloak and a few other things to make him kind of unblockable because he's weak as he is. But I'm going to tell you something. My deck has a sub-theme. And the sub-theme of my deck turns him into this.
You fool! I've been trained in your Jedi arts by Count Dooku! Attack, Kenobi!
That's right. So, my deck is also called General Grievous. One of the best things I like to do with my deck, especially with Omnath on the field, is pump him full of mana, just make him absolutely massive, and then equip all these to him, making him pro every color. Only thing that can kill him is a board wipe, but hopefully by then, I'm just going to kill you, because I know you have board wipes. And General Grievous is just a really fun way to build Omnath, especially if you have all the swords. So, I'm going to go through my deck tech. I'm going to talk about some of the support cards we have for him, because by himself, Omnath is a little weak. He has no hexproof. He has nothing. He's just going to sit there, look pretty, because, I mean, he is foil, so, you know, bling, 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 bling. But he's so easily killed. So, I'm going to go through a couple things that I have in this deck to hopefully make him less hard to kill while boosting up our mana production. Because we are in green, we love mana. We love all the mana. We want so much of the mana. There's not enough for us to satiate our hunger for green mana. So tons of mana doublers and all that fun stuff. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and start with enchantments for Omnath, General Grievous. Alright, so as I said, I love mana. We want more of the mana. We want all the mana. There is so much more mana. So we like Vernal Bloom. Vernal Bloom is a nice term for all forests. Now that's a key word now. All forests produce an additional green mana, so you're all helping your teammates. But if you know your play group or know that if your hand's very good and you can just go off, it really just helps yourself. We have Mana Reflection, because I think it's a lot cheaper than Zendikar Resurgence and does the exact same thing. We have Asceticism. We want to make sure that single target removal that your players have or your other play group have is almost useless. Because mono green's kind of weak when it comes to that whole single target shenaniganery, especially paths and all that fun stuff. But if they just destroy our stuff with asceticism, we can just regenerate it. And with all the mana we have, well, why not? I mean, we can pay 8, 10 mana to make sure our stuff stays alive. So let's, yeah, absolutely. Guardian Project. If you're running green, this card needs to be in your deck. There should be no other word for it because it's Guardian Project. You have only one copy of each card in Commander. So it specifically says when a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if it doesn't have the same name as another creature you control or a card in your graveyard, draw a card. So that's 4 mana. Every time you play something, draw a card, draw a card, draw a card. More card draw and mana. Theme going on here. Card draw, mana, General Grievous. Okay, had to do that. Defense of the Heart is fantastic, especially if you have a couple friends who like to do go white strategies, elf ball, anything like that. Mono red goblins. If you can play that on curve, turn 3, turn 4, and you can just go get something that's like, you know what? No, I'm going to kill you and everything you hold dear, you goblin person or you elf person. That's what that card's for. Sylvan Library is probably still one of the best cards in mono green for filtering. Now, Sylvan Library states you get to draw 2 additional cards. So, you draw for your first turn, and then you look at 2. Now, you can pay 3 life per extra card. So if you look at it and you're like, oh my god, it's 2 forests, I've got all my mana doublers, or I need this particular spell so we can go kill something else. You can pay 6 life, because we did put a few ways in here to gain life. Not a lot, mind you, but there are a few. You know, go ahead and draw. So you could be drawing 3 cards a turn, and early game, as that comes in on turn 2, it could be a game changer. So I highly recommend picking up a Sylvan Library for a green deck if you don't have one, because they are just fantastic. So moving on from enchantments, I think it's time to bring out some of our other support cards. Akroma's Memorial. Oh, cannot say enough about this card. So, creatures you control have flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, protection from black, and protection from red. 4/7. So it's basically just saying, hey, I'm playing mono black. Okay, well, stop. Or you found out a way to bring Omnath back as a 20/20, and now he has haste, flying, so now you can block everything. The way I built this deck is pretty much for fun, but it does lack in flying. So I figured, instead of putting, I don't know, spiders or a few other cards in there that actually have reach or flying, why not just make everything flying? And now, Omnath can actually block. Or an Ulamog. Heaven forbid. Ulamog is 30 stories tall, but he sees a bird and he's like, bye, birdie. Yeah, explain that. The ultimate evil that almost swept Zendikar off the face of the extinction, and he can't block a bird. Just I'm going to throw that one out there. Anyway, moving on. Whisper Silk Cloak. So, we want to make sure that our Omnom can't be targeted. Now, granted, it has Shroud. So, if we start doing things like wanting to equip swords to him, we have to pay mana to move it off, put a sword on, put that back on. It can get mana intensive, but it makes it so our Omnath can't be blocked. And 21 damage is still lethal in Commander. So, fantastic card. Always keep in mind for any Voltron deck or anything you're just trying to swing out with something massive. Doubling Cube. Oh my goodness. What do we say? We love mana, right? We absolutely love the mana. And Omnath is a mana battery. So if I have 20 counters in Omnath, well, that's my mana pool. And if I pay 3 and do that, oh no, I have 40 in my mana pool. Whatever will I do? Sorry, my Grievous came out of that one. Anyway, yeah, Doubling Cube. Fantastic. Please, if you have a big mana deck, a Karamitra, something that utilizes a ton of mana and ramp, yeah, you can never go wrong with more of that. Great Hinge, another good staple from our current set of Throne of Eldraine. It's just fantastic. I mean, you're playing green, you're playing massive well, not X spells, but massive green creatures. So that's usually a 2-drop, and it adds 2. And you gain 2 life. And it's more card draw, and your creatures get bigger. It is fantastic. Can't say enough about it. Shadow Spear, there's one of our ways to gain life. And Shadow Spear has that nice little thing down there that says, tap 1, permanence, your opponent's control, lose hexproof, and indestructible. So, a extremely political card. If somebody's going off at the table and they're playing Eldrazi something, anything Eldrazi, like, oh man, I could get rid of it, but it has indestructible. You can be like, hey buddy, hey, you know, for one, just one, I can take care of that for you. Extremely political card. Plus, it has that one right there, lifelink and trample. We love that. We love lifelink because green has some lifelink, but we didn't put a lot in this deck. But speaking of lifelink, how about our good old friend Luxodon Warhammer? Trample, lifelink, amazing. Because we want Omnath to be able to hit hard, hit often. And if it's not Omnath hitting, well, we want our other big things to hit hard and hit often too. And sometimes we're going to need that life. Because, as I said, Sylvan Library, I like to draw cards. I'm not ashamed of it. I will go down and I will kill myself. You can ask the friends in my playgroup. I usually kill myself with a mana crypt every now and then. And that's one thing you're actually going to notice about this deck. I don't put mana rocks in this deck unless they produce green, because with Omnath, it's kind of pointless. Like, oh, but what about the Soul Ring? What about this? You can. I'm not saying you can't. But the whole point is to put green mana into Omnath. So having stuff that makes colorless mana, kind of moot. I mean, you can throw an Arcane Signet, but a 2-for-1 in this deck, the way it's set up, I don't think it's really worth it. With all the ramp and everything we can do for green, I think it's okay without it. Speaking of ramp, let's go ahead and drop a Cage Sun. Absolutely. So creatures you control get +1/+1 of the chosen color you choose. But whenever you tap a land, it doubles. Oh my goodness. So that's what? Oh, 4 doublers so far? Oh, we love to double stuff. We are the mana doubling kings. Anything we're going to do to make sure stuff doubles, we're going to try to double it. Sometimes even triple it. That's called foreshadowing. Anyway, moving on from this, we do have a couple planeswalkers in this deck. They're really utility, but they're really good as well. So we have a Garruk, Caller of Beasts. The +1 is fantastic for filtering. If you're looking for something, or you have a hand of just straight nothing, you can at least look at the top 5, get a creature card, throw it on the battlefield, because hopefully you have lands. Or you go get something big. Let's say, okay, I'm going to +1. I'm going to find a Carnage Tyrant. Awesome. Well, next turn, I can just put it in there for free. Fantastic card. Can't say enough about it. And then Nissa. Oh, this card sees no play. I mean, who would ever play this? Yeah, I know. It's a bad pun. Nissa has been ruining the world for as long as she's been in now. I mean, and she's still heavily played in Standard because, oh my god, she's so hard to kill. Anybody who's ever played Arena knows the absolute turmoil of going against this and then seeing a big jellyfish Hydra as like a 15/15. You're like, well, I'm dead. So I do have a couple planeswalkers in here to help out with that issue. Now, let's go on to instants and sorceries. So as I said, we like ramp. So of course we have our Cultivates, our Nissas. We actually have our Nature's Lore, our Kadama's Reach, and our Boundless Realms. So I know there's probably a couple other land searches you can get for this deck, but I've actually been pretty happy with this one, especially Boundless Realms. Late game, if Omnath, if you already have your land-based sets and you have, I don't know, 6, 7 to play it, or you even have more thanks to the other ramp spells, you can actually go get another 10 plus lands, filter out your deck for more action. It is fantastic. Plus, with all of our mana doublers, just to say, I'm going to put 10 force onto the battlefield. Ouch. So it's like a sorcery version of Nissa's ultimate, where she just gets all force. It's just fantastic, really. So, yes, ramp, 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 more ramp, double. Double ramp, ramp, double ramp. Yes, decode that how you wish. So, from our ramp package, we can go with card draw. Return of the Wild Speaker. Fantastic card from Throne of Eldraine. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among non-human creatures you control. Well, this is Green Stompy. We don't have humans. And if they are humans, well, they're planeswalkers, so that doesn't count. So I can play a Galta and draw 20 cards. And with all the land I have available, I'll usually be able to play everything, and then a Chrome's Memorial, and it just gets crazy from there. It's so good. We actually have a Rishkar's Expertise. So let's draw cards, again, equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. I love this ability, because usually I have the biggest creature on the battlefield, and I'm just going to draw all the cards. So many of the cards. But then you get to play a 5-drop for free. So anytime you get to just draw, let's say conservatively, 7 cards, and then play something for free, is always a good value. Now, with all that land, we definitely need something to dump it in. One of my favorite spells, Gin Wave. We can easily, as long as we have protection and everything goes right, we can just Gin Wave our entire deck. And since we have a Chrome's Memorial, we can swing out for lethal. That is absolutely a hilarious way to end a game of Magic. And if no one has any protection from it, it's great. I smile. I very much turn to General Grievous then. It's just, one word away from Kenobi, blah, blah, and then just lightsaber throwing at people. It's fantastic. But we also got to have some protection and some of the other nice little sorcery spells we got. So Natural Order. I'm going to save this for last. I got something fun for that one. Heroic Intervention. I'm just going to give all my stuff indestructible and hexproof. I mean, you can't say enough about that card. Indestructible, hexproof. It's fantastic, especially in mono green. We don't have a Teferi's Protection or counter spells or anything like that. So anytime we can get a board wipe to just say no is fantastic. Now we have See the Unwritten and Tooth and Nail. I love searches. So I like to be able to go get at least what I want or have a better chance of putting more things on the battlefield. So See the Unwritten says, I get a look at the top 8 of my library, put one creature from those top 8 onto the battlefield. But we're usually going to have a creature bigger than 4. So we get to cast it for its ferocious cost and say 2 creatures from the top 8 around the battlefield. That's why we usually run very creature heavy, is to get good value out of that. Now, of course, you're going to whiff sometimes, but if you can go back-to-back Eldrazi, it's hilarious. Tooth and Nail says, okay, I see where the battlefield's going. I see that I need to hopefully have a response, so I can go get any 2 creatures I want from my deck and put them onto the battlefield if you pay the entwined cost, which is fantastic. You can either set up a lethal or go get a response for something. If you know somebody's going to be swinging in with something absolutely massive, go get 2 Eldrazi, they're indestructible, and just block for days. Or go get a Blightsteel Colossus, give it Shroud, and just tell your opponent to go away for a little while and come back later. All good choices. Now, Natural Order. If you're not familiar with this card, you should be. So Natural Order says, on turn 4, or earlier, depending on your ramp, why don't you just sacrifice a green creature? And because you sacrificed a green creature, you can go get any green creature you want from your deck and put on the battlefield. So one of my favorite things to do is you have your Omnath out here, turn 3, okay? We're playing it on curve. Turn 3 Omnath, turn 4 Natural Order. Well, Omnath really isn't doing much, and your hand's kind of looking a little meh. But if you had more mana, though, I think you might be able to turn things around. So go ahead and cast Natural Order. Let's just sacrifice Omnath. He'll be fine. He's used to it. He's a gelatinous blob. And just like General Grievous, we can just piecemeal them back together. But what you go get is a Vorinclex. Nothing brings happiness more to my ears than hearing a collective, is that a Vorinclex? Because on turn 4, to drop this, you shut off a lot of people's responses. If somebody pays to destroy it, well, that person shut out a mana for whatever they had to destroy that for an entire turn because of it's a state-based effect. So on turn 4, you just Vorinclex people, say, yeah, go ahead and play what you want because that land doesn't untap until you come back to your turn. Oh, it's fantastic. And then all your stuff doubles. Fun little combo. Everyone hates it. I love it. See more of it. But moving on to our awesome roster of creatures. No green deck should ever be without an awesome roster of just absolutely destructive big boys. So, of course, our Vorinclex. I will introduce you to Savala. So Savala, as I said, I love mana. We need more mana. When you tap Savala and pay 1 green now, just 1, you get to add as much green mana equal to the highest power of creatures you have. Well, if that's an Omnath, you just added 20 into your pool. And wow, that card is so powerful. But one thing that makes it even more ridiculous is let's throw a Nyxbloom Ancient onto the battlefield. So yeah, my Omnath is a 20/20. Not bad. I'm going to tap that. I'm going to gain 20. Oh, but do you? No, you gain 60. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I like mana. So I'm not going to apologize for that. It's a really fun combo. Her with anything that doubles it, because of his says when a permanent taps for mana, that's a permanent. Oh, it's fun. And what do you do with all that mana? Well, how about if you put it in a way to untap your mana to retap it? Now, this isn't a ludicrously expensive deck, or I would have an actual Candelabra in here, but Magus of the Candelabra I think does well. It's a 1-drop, you can bring it out early block, or you can sacrifice it to Natural Order. It's just there, but let's say I have all this doubling, right? So I'm going to tap this. I'm going to, let's say, just conservatively, I'm going to gain 15 mana. Okay, well, shoot. That kind of cost me everything to do. Well, I have 15 mana. Let's say I have 15 lands. Huh. Okay. Let's just tap 15, untap 15. Oh no. With that out on the battlefield, I have 15 times 3. So Magus, while not as powerful as a Candelabra, is significantly cheaper. It's a one-shot, but if you have a handful of stuff and you drew a bunch of cards, it's totally worth it. And talking about lands, let's go with our good buddy Solemn. Just a basic, I want to go get a land. When you kill it, I draw a card. I think every commander deck usually runs one. It's just value. So good value. We have Anissa, the Vastwood Seer. Now, Anissa says that you may go get a basic forest and reveal it and put it into your hand. So we have another way of getting ramp. But if you have 7, she flips. So once you hit your 7th land, she flips into Nissa, Sage Animist. Now, I'm not really a big fan of the -2 or the -7, but that +1, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put the card in your hand. It's just card draw. It is pure, unadulterated card filtering and card draw. If it's a land, you get more of it. If it's not, it goes to your hand. Cannot say enough good things about Nissa Vastwood Seer. One of the original flip planeswalkers. So good. We put a Questing Beast in here just because it's Questing Beast. It's still fantastic. It has Vigilance for some odd reason, Haste for some odd reason, and Death Touch. And it can't be blocked. I mean, it's just good. Plus, if somebody is playing Planeswalker deck and it makes contact, it hits all the Planeswalkers, which is just disgusting. You can't have a green deck without your big boy, Galta, the Primal Hunger. Usually with our board state, we can get him out for 2. He swings in. He does big, nasty things. Fantastic card. Let's go on with our A-list roster here. So, Soul of the Harvest. As I said, green needs to draw cards. We love drawing cards. So every time we play a creature, let's just go ahead and draw cards. It's one of those commander cards that shines brightly in a mono deck or in a non-token deck that can just play creatures. Card draw is always good. But so is playing lands. So we have an Oracle Moldai. We love to play additional lands. We love to have the opportunity to play lands from the top of our library. I mean, how annoying is it to know that you have a land on top and not know what the next card is and just be like, oh my god, if I can just play this land, I could do something. So in that essence, let's have an Azusa. So not only can we play this into this and play that, we can do it multiple times and hopefully empty out our hand of land. And if that's not enough, we can go ahead and bring out a Courser, which does basically the exact same thing, except now we're gaining life because of the lands we play, which is never a bad thing. We want to make sure that we have all the lands we need at any given point in time. But green has a kind of a weakness when it comes to destroying things except through big, nasty Stompy. So we put a Bane of Progress in here to get rid of all of our opponents' enchantments and artifacts, which is very good, especially for a world effect. Most of the time, if you're playing a strict enchantment deck, they're going to have, okay, well, all my stuff is hexproof and you can't target it and blah, blah, blah. Well, let's just blow up the world of enchantments and artifacts. Fantastic card. And how about something to give all of our stuff trample? Yes, the M19, I think it was the bulk rare of the set. I mean, it was just like, oh, whatever. It's a 6 for an 8/8. They give everything trample, but no one was really playing trample or big things back then, except for this one. I give everything trample. We want to make sure we always connect with our opponent to deal damage. So this way, we give everything trample, everything's beastie, and everything hits. Moving on, we have a Multani. Because oddly enough, I don't like playing the spiders. So things that have reach or naturally have reach, I don't see much value in this deck because I'm trying to go over the top or blow up people's stuff. So I put that there for reach. And the Cornwall's Memorial just makes everything I have reach. But Multani's just reach plus trample plus value. Recursive threat. Very good card. Worm Coil Engine. Oh my goodness. Death Touch. Lifelink. When it dies, you create a 3/3 with Death Touch and a 3/3 with Lifelink. It is so good value. So good. We also have a Seaborn Muse because we want to untap everything, tap it again to double up everything. So we can have that on the battlefield. We can have that on the battlefield. That and that on the battlefield. And then if our Omnath is on the battlefield, oh my goodness. Every single turn, we're untapping, adding, untapping, adding, untapping, adding. It can be disgusting and amazing, and everyone likes it. They usually don't, but I like it, so it works. Eternal Witness. We do have a little bit of graveyard recursion. I usually don't play Praetor's Council, the massive one that says just you don't have a hand size, return everything from your graveyard back. It's a good card, but it's a little much. So recursive stuff like this, plus we play Eldrazi, recursive threats from milling and everything else. Riptide Raptor. Again, card draw. 4/4/4/5 is a good body anyway. But if I block and it dies, I still draw a card. Or I block, or somebody does a damage board wipe, I draw a card. Now this guy, Dungrove Elder, I call him Mini Omnath because he grows equal to the number of force you have. So you can't get that big as Omnath could, but he has hexproof. And if we throw the swords on him with hexproof, well, we made a monster, and that's never a bad thing. All right, continuing with our roster, we have Bramble Sovereign. Now, this might be a card some of you aren't familiar with. Battle Bond, one of the most fun draftable sets. It was basically Commander Masters in a sense. But Battle Bond simply states that whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, you can pay 2 and create a copy of it. Well, we have a lot of ways to make mana, don't we? So having copies of all of our non-legendaries is fantastic. And it can get out of control real quickly. Sometimes we need that stuff to cost less. So we have a Goreclaw. Goreclaw simply states, well, anything that has a power 4 or greater, yeah, it just costs less. Fair enough, right? Yeah, I think so. Plus, whenever you attack, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on it and give another creature trample till the end of turn, which is great because we always love for our damage to go over. How about we throw in a Carnage Tyrant? Now, Carnage Tyrant is one of those things that I just love. Like the Dungrove Elder, it has hexproof by its lonesome, so it's already great. But it can't be countered. I mean, so if you're playing a very control-heavy deck, it can't be countered. It has trample. It has hexproof. We throw a sword on it. Now, I don't know how it holds the swords, per se. Unless it's like... I picture a Carnage Tyrant with sword braces. So it kind of looks like Baraka from Mortal Kombat. We'll go with that. That's how it carries swords. We're gonna say that's how it works. We also have a Woodfall Primus. Now, the Woodfall Primus, when it comes into play, you get to destroy non-creature permanent. So it's... I'm going to destroy your best enchantment. I'm going to destroy your best artifact. Hopefully, stop something nasty from happening on their side of the table. And if somebody kills it, with Persist, it comes back, does it again. If we have Bramble Sovereign out on the battlefield, we get to copy it and do it twice. It is such a good card. But speaking of blowing things up, how about we lay out a Terrastodon? So when Terrastodon comes down to the battlefield, we can destroy 3 target non-creature permanents. So we can go after somebody's land base. We can go after combo pieces. Hopefully they don't have hexproof. But, you know, if we can do anything that can even out the board state, very politically, then we'll definitely take it. If somebody's like, hey man, if you don't blow up my thing, I can get rid of the rest, well then, hey, that works in your favor and you made a friend. Until Omnath is like a 50-50. Then you have no friends. You just want to kill everyone. Just like General Grievous. Giant Adaphage. So, this is one of my favorite targets to copy from Bramble Sovereign, because Giant Adaphage says whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you make a copy. Well, you have 2 of those, and both of them swing out, well then you have 4 Giant Adaphages. Then next turn, you have 8, and so on, until Giant Adaphage Insect Swarm kind of goes over the board. It's kind of like the Zerg Rush of mono green. So moving on from there, of course we have the big boys. And by big boys I mean Ulamog, the Infinite Gyre, Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, Kozilek, the Butcher, Blightsteel, Colossus, and one of my favorite, I'm considering him pretty much in the same category, Vigor. Now, each one of these in their own right can be a game ender. Indestructible, or the simple fact that you get to reshuffle your graveyard into your library, is absolutely insane and fantastic. Blightsteel, with the Whisper Steel Cloak that I showed earlier, can just win a game. You equip it, they can't do anything about it, you're done. Absolutely, lethal infect damage. Vigor says, okay, well all my little stuff that I have on the battlefield is now going to block all your big stuff. And in so doing, I'm going to prevent all that damage, and I'm going to give them that many counters. And then I'm going to swing out, hopefully with Trample, and you see how it goes from there. It is absolutely destructive. Vigor is a must in any green deck that can run it, or you run that style of just big, nasty creatures. So, everyone, I hope you enjoyed my deck tech of my mono green General Grievous commander deck. It's an absolute blast to play. I think it's definitely one of those, just, you bring it to a casual game and you just watch people's faces light up as you make a 1000, 1000, or an 800, 800, or even just a 60, 60 Omnath with pro everything that has all the swords. And in the back of your mind, you know that you made General Grievous proud, and that, you know, even though you didn't defeat Kenobi, you can defeat your players in Commander. So, until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Farewell. Thank you all so much for making it to the end of the video. Hope you really enjoyed it. As I promised, we have our first Blue Collar Gaming giveaway. That's right. And what are we giving away? F&M card sleeve codes. That's right. If you want to show your flex a little bit on your opponents in Arena, well, we have specific card sleeves thanks to our local sponsor of Got Game in Sanford, North Carolina, for giving out these codes to you guys. It is really awesome. I think the first one is an Ajani card back. So if you want to get something that you can't buy on Arena, only through our connection with our local game store, please feel free. The first 20 subscribers will get these card sleeve codes that I'll send out to them. So, as I say again, guys, please subscribe, like, leave a comment, and I'll get those codes out to the first 20 people who drop a comment and a subscription. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much. Enjoy the giveaway, and I'll talk to you soon.